Hello and welcome to today's Crystal Ball. So today I will be live for about an hour, I would say, and tomorrow there will be an earlier stream tomorrow because um, I can do it. I can do an earlier one tomorrow, um, and it will be members channeling, I think. Um, and I have the same cards today as yesterday. I haven't really mixed the cards up yet. It's been nice to use these new ones since getting back. Kind of feeling reconnected with them. So we'll use these ones for a little bit. Maybe mix it up tomorrow or the next day. So it is the same, and I will go back over those in a moment as well. Just in case you weren't in. And if you are new, I am Venus, and this is Secret Frequencies, and I do readings like this on this channel all of the time. We have many subscriber readings that are just free, and we have some extra streams for members as well. You can check out the description for information if you do want to be a member and get channelings and things like that, or if you just want to check out any more of what I do and more of my social media and things like that. So it's nice to see some of you are able to make it. I know it is a little bit late today. Again, again. But we do have, so I will go back over the cards. I know not everybody has been in every stream. So we have Dragon, we have Yin Yang, we have Spellcasting, Secrets of Wandwood, Love, and Angel. So we still have those at the moment. Or maybe we'll, you know what, I'll change the angel. So we'll use the Seraph Souls just for something a little bit different. We'll use the Seraph Soul angel ones. Let's use these. So we have, you know them. I think you know them. The Seraph Souls, we will use those. AA, hello. So I'm very well. I hope you guys are well. And thank you guys for asking about my wrist. It's okay, but it seems to be, you know, um, it's not healing super quick because I use it too much. It's my right wrist. I mostly do things with my right hand. Um, so yeah, it's not the best. I was clicking on the last channeling, and I did do more channelings than I said I would do. Um, which maybe I shouldn't have done that, I don't know. But yeah, it's not great today. So, but there will be a channeling tomorrow morning. I'm just going to do it, even if we do only manage to do a few. That'll just have to be the case for now. Um, so yeah, that's, I appreciate that. I appreciate you asking, so thank you. AA is the first question, I believe, and says, Ash's thoughts for Lisa today, okay? Yeah, there does seem to be a bit of nostalgic energy, like kind of a reminiscing of a past time. And it feels more to be like a time in person, so a time that you've been in physically in person together, not like, you know, an online conversation or anything like that. It does seem to be a little bit of missing you, a little bit of reminiscing there. Suns, hello. Jan, hello. Reflecto, hello and welcome. Sid says, will my money last me up until I get my PIP pay in 3 weeks and 1 day's time? Okay. So I'm getting a yes on this, and I'm seeing this. It's kind of unfortunate because I know, we do check this every now and then when you ask a question about the money lasting, and it does. I'm still kind of getting this just about make it, just about make it. So it's better than a no, but I do wish for you to have more abundance, of course. Jan says, is my skin purging right now due to the new toner I bought, or is it irritated and I need to stop using the toner every night and just do it every other night instead? Okay. Yeah, I would definitely suggest the reduction. Yeah, I would with this. I'm really sorry to say. And Jasmine says hi to everyone. Hello. It's nearly 5:30 a.m. Oh my. Oh my. Yeah, it's pretty late here as well. It's definitely not the best time. Um, so we are going to really aim for early tomorrow and even the next day, I think. Tomorrow is No, not the next day. Tomorrow and Sunday, we're aiming for early streams because I need to get some early ones in. I keep saying it. But yeah, I need to. Um, I did have bookings today, which I don't have tomorrow. So I don't have tomorrow, so it should be good. Jasmine, if I put my mind to it, would I be successful in this life insurance company that Marcus wants me to get into? Okay. It's To be honest, it's difficult to say with this because I'm not really. The path of it just seems so narrow and minimal, you know, in accordance to like other options, other paths that you may have. Seem like they're taking up like the majority. When I put it into the percentages, so it's like 5-10%, something like that, like a very very narrow path. So I don't want to say you wouldn't be successful. It just seems like it's so low on the options or where you're being pushed to or where you're gravitating to. It seems so low. So a low path doesn't mean not successful. A low path just means there's other paths that you're more likely to take or being pushed more towards or gravitating more towards. So a narrow path doesn't necessarily mean not successful. It just means it looks like such a low prominence that you will actually do that. So with the successful side of it, I really can't. It's like abundance or in terms of anything like that. It just looks narrow. So, but I mean, I would say yes because I feel like if you know, I feel like anything that most of us put our mind to, we can really get there. Especially if it is something you really want and you really want to try out. So don't want like what I'm seeing to be like off-putting in any way, which is why I'm trying to kind of over-explain it, I guess. So it's not that I'm being unsuccessful. It's just that it looks like such a low prominent to you. Um, so yeah, I don't want to say not successful because of that. So I would say if you really feel drawn to it, to give it a go and to try it. If there isn't a huge like upfront cost, then there isn't too much to lose. Depending on time, if you have to really, um, you know, put it as a huge priority and maybe it takes away from other priorities, then obviously there's more than just money that can be at risk. Or if it's doable for you to just try it, then I don't see why not. But yeah, it's really looking very low as something that you actually will do. But there's always a possibility of going down all low paths. 5% paths, 10% paths. It happens and it does happen. And if we're really, really driven to do that, the further we get towards it, the more it could open up, the more we could maybe see if it's high energy, low energy in the abundance sense, not just in the prominence sense. So Sid says, will having one more spirit here affect my Baku spirit from integrating and settling? Yeah, I would say yes with this. I would say yes. Jan, when will this new connection opportunity happen? Will it be online or in person? Trying to be aware of it so I don't miss it. I'm online. I get online. Dragon for Suns. From Water Dragon creates the foundation for new growth. A fresh start is coming with new opportunities. Nurture your ideas and harvest the abundance. Very nice. I do. I really love the dragon cards. Sid says to all of the Seelie Fae know my name. Yes, I guess a yes on that. I accidentally shared my name with the Fae Spirit who left me a gift. She won't share my name. Nothing bad will happen by her knowing my full name, okay? No, I don't see that. I don't see that. Your connection with the kind of Fae Spirit, Fae realm in general, I feel like it's quite, I never like to discount that bad things can happen with the Fae. There definitely are spirits that have positive and negative sides, and it's not like, an angel where, pretty much know you're good with angels, So it can be the case, it can happen, but your connection with them is quite a unique one. So no, I would say no. Jasmine, even though you said Marcus is temporary, will we at least be together the next 4 to 11 years, sorry. Um, 11 seems a bit long for what I'm seeing. I would say like 4 to 5 is kind of, at the moment, it's looking like the maximum at the moment. We can check on it, maybe the bond strengthens, but I would say 4 to 5 at the moment. Reflecto, my ex pulled away from me and everyone around his circle, but I know we have things to talk about. What will happen? Will we get back? Remain friends? From what I know, he still cares about me. Okay. So, let's see. So, pulled away from me and everyone around his circle, but I know. Pulled away from me and everyone. So, the possibility of getting back together or remaining friends. I already feel like the energy of the care, like still caring. I really do still feel that. So, let's see what comes through. I feel much more like the possibility for reconciliation in a romantic and intimate sense is much more prominent. It's much more likely that you will get back together in a romantic sense than be friends. I don't really feel like a friendship is really a connection that you will have. I feel like it's between pulling away completely and going totally separate ways or reconciling and being together. The only thing I would say with this like reconciliation path is it does seem like even in the case of reconciliation, there's still a period of pulling away and being quite distant before coming back. So yes, reconciliation and romantic energy is much more prominent than friendship, but it still seems like there's a process to it and taking time to it. Jan, so I had a dream over them fighting, woke up and had a feeling to check the server, and I saw she had a major crash out and deleted everything related to him. Is it over between them and what happened? Okay. So in terms of what happened, it's very samey. It's very, him pulling away again and not being very responsive or attentive to what she would want. But the issue this time, and why this maybe it seems quite big, if it seems quite big, is before this, there was a closening, much more of a romantic closening. So it was much more of a kind of romantic energy on both sides than just kind of one-sided. So, of course, if you finally feel like someone who has pulled away quite a lot and has kind of really friend zoned you quite a lot is suddenly beginning to get a bit more romantic with you, and that romantic hope comes back, and then they pull away again, just as they always do. It's a bit more of a hit when you really thought it was getting somewhere, and that's really what it seems like. So it says, was the fairy spirit who left me a gift an unseelie fae? Okay. I'm gonna get a no on that. Sid says, will I win on any competition sites this month? Or, sorry, a yes on that. I just realised what I said. I guess a yes on that. Will I win on any competition sites this month or next as well? There does seem to be possibility at the end of next month, like the last 2 weeks of next month. Leela, hello. Is Lee planning to be in the good relationship with me? Okay. I get a no on this at the moment. It does feel like there's thoughts and contemplation around it, but not planning, not like, when you say planning, I feel like that's like kind of more having a firm decision and like maybe thinking of reaching out or maybe thinking of suggesting something. I feel like there's been thoughts about it, but when it comes to planning or action or anything like that, I would say no, unfortunately. Sujan says, is the new connection male or female? Thinking it might just be D. Yeah, I'm pretty sure with this, what I'm picking up is D, I'm pretty sure. So don't know if maybe it looks into the wrong connection when I checked on the last question. But I think that I was getting D, yes. Cities was made Fairy U and Angel A be happy to be bound to the same vessel, and would it work out well? Okay. Yes, I get a yes and a yes with that one. As Leila says, is Lee working on himself to be in good contact with me? I feel like there are certainly attempts at working on himself. I feel like there's a bit of struggle and difficulty with it, but I do feel like there's an attempts and intention to work on himself. Kevin, I'm well. I hope you are well. Is there something that I can do before going to sleep so that I can make sure I have better deep sleep? Okay. So I'm getting a suggestion of the last thing that you're eating should be cherries. So like a snack or dessert or whatever it might be of cherries. So that is coming through. Oh no, so it says it's buffering. Oh, oh no. The signal here has been pretty bad. Too many issues. I'll carry on for a little bit and see. Hopefully it's okay. Eslila, is Martina a sincere friend of my daughter? Okay. Yes, I guess a yes on that. Jasmine says, I know we talked about this a lot, but can you let me know the most prominent and most abundant paths coming up? I'm writing my answers down so I don't have to keep asking. So most prominent and abundant paths of, is it more, I assume like job path, like job opportunities if we're looking at abundance specifically. So let's look at that. Yeah, so three things that come up, but I think that, well, let me go through them. So one of them is uh, like work for yourself kind of energy, but is surrounding this kind of creative path. So when I'm being shown it, I'm being shown it as um, different to the spiritual. So we know we look at like working for yourself as a like a medium or some kind of spiritual role. We're seeing the differentiation here, where this is like the creative side. I'm just getting creative at the moment, but I'm pretty sure this is the same energy that we saw of. It was something you were going to do that was. I think you said hair, like beauty related, whether it's hair or nails or something like that. I'm pretty sure you said hair. I think that's what this one is, where it's more like on the creative side than um, the spiritual. So there's that one, and that's like freelance or working for yourself, like that kind of energy. I do think it's that kind of, it's creative, but I do think it's like on the beauty theme. But I also do see some kind of like admin techie type work, which is, it's not freelance, it is working for a company, but I see a lot of remote possibility with it. So you could be working from home or have the ability to travel a little bit because you can work from anywhere. So although it's still from a company, there's a bit of freedom in that. But I do feel like it's very admin techish, where it's like, it's inputting things into your computer or whatever, laptop or anything like that. Um, that side of it. So that's more like the company opportunity. And they're the two at the moment that they look closer to me. So it's like they're the two most prominent opportunities at the moment, that are very close. So, but there is the mediumship does still come through, but it seems like it's a bit more of a, I don't know if this has been pushed away because I can't quite remember the time frame of last time we checked it, but it seems like it seems like it's quite likely that you could even be doing one of these things or get into one of these things before you move to mediumship. So it could even be like a move to one of these two positions, um, before you move to this one. So they're the most most prominent at the moment, but the prominence of when the mediumship opportunity comes further down the timeline, it opens up. So it kind of will push those two to be more narrower paths as that one opens up. So Sid, can I send energy to Fairy You and Angel A with the DIY energy spell without them being bound? Will it still work? Just as long as I have photos of them. Yes. I guess a yes on that. You're very welcome. Suns, ask as many questions as you like, or for as many cards. And I did go. I thought I forgot to go over the cards. I did go over them. I'll go back over them in a few minutes if anyone is new in. If you are new in, I am Venus, and this is Secret Frequencies, and we do readings like this on this channel all the time. You can ask specific questions for the crystal ball, or you can request a card, which I will go back over the cards in a moment. Jancis, is there any time frame for this new connection opportunity? I say roughly 3 months. It could be a little bit over, but I want to say 3 months. Maya, hello. Kevin, what are the blood donation volunteer guys' thoughts and feelings about me? We talked a lot that day, and we also interacted this week during lunch. Okay. To me, this feels a little bit like a spark. It feels a little bit like being, almost feel like this person is a little bit surprised at how well they feel that you clicked. So yeah, if that makes sense, it's like we clicked, but it's a surprise energy of like how much he feels that you clicked. So I don't know if you feel the same on it, but Maya says 1 card for me. Yeah, so let's do an angel. Okay, I do feel this one. So we have Quest, Archangel Michael. Evolution, Archangel Michael. Communication is the key. Some things may have been hidden from you. You may know what these things are, or you may have had your head in the sand. You are naturally empathetic and can sense that there is something. Trust and honesty are very important qualities for you in others, and this may have been challenged. Use your natural abilities of communication and truly listen. Your intuition, also known as your higher self, will guide you out of this chapter and move you forward into a calmer place. Archangel Michael is providing protection for you and is assisting with this quest for the truth he brings. Courage, strength, and clear thoughts to take you forward. S. Leela says, has Lee been thinking about me lately? Is he missing me? Yes, I would say yes with that. Sid says, who helped with my anxiety last night? Which spirits/entities? So you do have Heen come through, but there's also a spirit, which I believe is quite a newish spirit, with an S letter. I think this is quite newish with an S letter. S. Leela, oh sorry, Kevin, if I talk to my Signify managing team about adding something for Gen AI savings in my time weekly tracker itself, how will that go? So I guess a very positive energy around this, so I would say that it would go very well. Best of luck with that. So it says, are any of my Baku spirits able to help with my anxiety tonight when I go to bed? Yes, I got a yes on that. Reflect, oh, thanks so much, Venus. Please look after yourself and watch the wrist. Good night from Australia. And thank you so much. I'm really sorry if you know, to not match with you and if you can't be on for much longer. I really, I'm really sorry about that. But love, light, and blessings. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Maya, my friend um, Pei feels jealous when he notices other guys are very kind and joke with me. I think there's a little hint of jealousy there. It doesn't feel super strong, but yeah, I would say there's a little hint. Kevin, if I try working with my, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry, fascia, will that help my stretch marks? How much will it heal? Okay. Yeah, I feel like there can be like a little bit of a reduction in appearance slightly, but it doesn't seem like a huge thing. But I definitely don't think that that's nothing or that's bad, if that makes sense. Like it's not nothing or it's not going to make things worse. So yeah, I would say like slightly. Just again, keep having my vervain handy, using my vervain very regularly these days. Jasmine. So since 4 to 5 years of Marcus is coming up, the plan and goals that I thought about this morning is a go. Or what do my guides say about it? Okay. Yes, I would say yes, and I really the main thing that I think here is there's I kind of feel like there's a slow process where this potentially could overtake as the more prominent path. I don't want to speak too soon, but I feel like there's something there's something about this connection where it's not like it's shouting out to me like you know um long-term soulmate, twin flame, forever person. It's not shouting out to me as like as that, but I just feel like there's something very real and calm and kind of just something that's kind of special, but kind of not in a calm way. It's like you know how some people will say like, oh, having butterflies when you see someone's like rarely means you love them, and some people will say no, but butterflies is like you know that kind of honeymoon period, or it's excitement with anxiety, and a lot of the time people say it's when you don't have the butterflies, it's when it doesn't feel super like it's something crazy and you just kind of smooth right into it, that it's actually the better connection. It kind of feels like that to me. It's kind of like that smoother and better connection, where it's kind of like it doesn't scream at me that's something like amazing and like like I have to tell you to like stay with this person at all costs. It doesn't really scream that to me, but it feels like something that could really gradually ease in as this really long term path. And of course, I will be happy to keep a check on that and make sure that I'm not kind of jumping the gun on saying that, but it kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like there's something about her that's really positive, but it's just a lot of a calmer energy. I don't know. Maybe you um, can feel what I'm saying or understand what I'm saying. And that's not to say there isn't excitement. The butterfly, stomach butterfly comparison was just a comparison. That's not to say that the person doesn't excite you, and it was just a comparison of how that comes across. So Jan says, are things over now between them? Correction, they both deleted everything regarding each other's pictures and everything, which they had never done before, no matter how bad the argument is. I think there's a possibility, but I honestly, from what I'm seeing, I don't think so. I do think still, despite that, I think there will be a coming back together. But I do think there's a possibility. There's a possibility because I don't really feel like, I still don't feel like after all the time checking on it, that it's going to be like the forever, longer term lasting connection. I've never really seen it to be that way. But there's just always seems to be some way that they gravitate back from for a while, and personally I still think that will happen for a while before the end, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. Maya, why with my friend Pei haven't been talking to me much this week? Okay. It feels like there's a romantic interest that's taking kind of distraction. Kevin, I want to go to the gym in the morning, but when I wake up, I feel very, very sleepy lately and go late to office. Is there any other better time for me? Okay. If any time between 11 and 1 could be possible because it's feeling very kind of like midday-ish. What's coming up? Jan. Okay, last time you pulled a connection card for me telling me an important one is coming up that I don't want to miss. Had a gut feeling it was D with what the card was referring to. Yeah, I think so. I would feel so. Maybe we can do a double check to see if there is anything else that comes through with an important, just important connection. Yeah. Yeah, I do think so. I do think so. Maya, Aries, my brother-in-law, is unfaithful to Cathus. Let me check. I get a no on that. Luckily, Dragon Edwards. Hello. Kevin, I was told that in Signify, if all the work is done in June itself from my side, then I won't have to continue. Is it possible for me to complete my work by next month itself in Signify? Yes, I guess a yes on that. And the percentage of that happening, okay? I said 85, maybe just, I wouldn't quite go to 90, but maybe a little bit over 85, if I was being very specific, very precise. Jan says, is my toner the only thing in my skincare routine that I need to use less of or use it every other day? I guess a yes on that. Aries, will my April's mortgage trial payment will be counted towards April's month's due date. Hopefully I don't have to file a dispute appeals process. I sent a receipt to reflect the date it was posted. I'm guessing a yes on that, so hoping for the best with that for you. Jasmine says, so it's the mediumship. Oh yeah, we were looking at abundant, not just most prominent. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, so it's the mediumship the most abundant. Okay. It feels like it could be either of the mediumship or this creative one as well. The abundant energy of both of those seems quite similar. It looks a little bit like the creative one's like ever so slightly more, but that may be also because it's sooner. Yeah, maybe showing as more because it's sooner. Um, but yeah, just to say, it does look like there's actually slightly more on that one. Actually, this is every time I meditate more and feel closer to my soul, then Lee seems to think about me more. Do you see it in your crystal ball too? Okay. I would tend to agree. I'm not seeing like every time, but when we are kind of more settled into our own energies and kind of very happy with ourselves and like self-focused, but in a positive way, not like a selfish way, like self-love focused, you know. When we do kind of and we're kinder to ourselves, the energy, our external energies, our vibrance is stronger, so it can attract more people, whether that's people in physical proximity or people who know of us thinking about us. It definitely can be the case, and it's very often the case. So I would say yes. Kevin, do you see some romantic possibilities? Sorry. Do you see some romantic possibilities with this blood donation volunteer guy? What would be his thoughts about this? Okay. I actually do think that the kind of intenseness of the spark is because there's some level of romantic or physical attraction. I do feel that. But one thing I would say is I don't really feel like it's computed in his mind. So I would say that there's potential, but I feel like this person might have to kind of, there might be a bit of a process of this person coming to this realization, is what I would say. It feels a little bit, it's there, but it feels subconscious. Sid, you're very welcome. Thank you for being able to join again as well, since again we're late and I'm really sorry. So, Jasmine says, should I put Randall on child support? I guess a yes on that. AA says, use thoughts for me today. This is, it's a positive energy that's coming through, but also quite a lot. It's quite a lot. So you've definitely been on this person's mind quite a lot today. LP, would love a reading. I've been struggling at work. Okay, so let's do an angel reading for LP. Nice to see you. Okay. Actually, I'm not sure about that one. Maybe it's the right colour, definitely, for you. Okay. So we have change with Archangel Uriel. You have been feeling a little unsettled recently, as there have been some changes in your life. Spend some time grounding yourself. Take your socks off and get your feet on the grass. Get amongst the trees near the water. The changes are positive. It may take a little while for you to adapt, though. Follow your intuitive guidance as to what you can do to ease this process. Sometimes the answer is right in front of you. Archangel Uriel is connected to your root chakra and is helping you feel more relaxed. And I think we have this one too, which is Overcome. This is still for LP. Overcome with the same Archangel, Archangel Uriel. This image is a reminder to ensure that everything you put out to the universe is done so in a kind, caring, and loving way. I'm sure that you do. Occasionally, though, we may react to situations that are not of our making. As in the image, these waves of energy create ripples. When they bounce off things, they return to you. There is a personal situation that is causing you to doubt the progress that you are making with your new project or idea. You know in your heart that you are doing the right thing. Rise above their comments and be positive with your decisions. Take a step back from them and take back your power. Archangel Uriel is with you, helping you keep your feet on the ground and maintain your passion for this task. Jan, you're welcome. Leela, does Lee have a problem letting go of me, and does he wonder why this is happening? Yeah, I would say yes. I would say fully letting go, yes, and I would also say that if it's been a while and you haven't been on the mind, there's been no thinking about you, and then all of a sudden you're there again, I do feel like it's kind of like I thought that was it. I thought that was going to be it. So yes, I do agree with that. Kevin, how much effective response will we be getting if we add something for Gen AI saving in my time tracker itself than the way we are doing currently using forms percentage for this? So how much effective response will we be getting if we add something? So okay. I'm guessing around 70 for that. Ella, hello. I'm Jan. What astrology sign is D? I feel like all my longest relationships were with Scorpio placements, so wondering if he is one too. So I'm guessing both Aries and Capricorn. So it could be that it could just be that the ball is not kind of narrowing it down between those kind of last two. But it could be that one is like sun, one is moon, like there's two. They're both in the chart somewhere. It could be. It could be. I still sense Andreas' energies are low. Why does he seem out of it during the evenings? I do feel like there's a bit of a hit on his mental health at the moment. I feel like, you know, on a more kind of um I don't want to say like depression, I don't want to say anything that's too strong, but I do think there's something kind of like in the maybe chemical imbalance, or maybe just sometimes we just get kind of in a rut, and it can be a little bit difficult to pull out of, even if in a physical sense the brain might be healthy, but there's still the mental health element of like mind over matter. We're just kind of unable to pull out of that kind of rut. I feel almost like it's hitting a wall a little bit in how he feels he's doing. I do think it's a little bit misguided, or maybe not trusting or hoping, not trusting myself, and not being as hopeful for myself as I should be. I do feel like, you know, it's maybe if he kind of just picks himself from internal focus a bit too much, and kind of just, focused on a bit more like the bigger picture, like the connection and the home, and the bigger picture of things, rather than sometimes we go too within that. We're judging ourselves, we're thinking what other people are thinking of us, we're getting into a rut, or we're worrying and things like that. I do feel like it's a little bit like that with him at the moment. Sid, super chat here. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Will I get hungry again tonight, or in the middle of the night, to the point I end up eating again? I guess no on that one. Ella, do you see he is willing to change? Yeah, I do still see this at the moment. I do still, although I agree with that energy being a little bit kind of lower, I still feel that there's there's still some motivation there, and there's still some hope in the longer term goals, like, improving over the longer term, and being better. I do still see that right now, so that's good. Hopefully, it continues like that. Come on, Angel. Okay, let's do this one. Decision, Archangel Michael. Patience. Communication is often the key, and Archangel Michael is assisting you with the circumstances of a specific situation that, if you are not already aware of, will become apparent soon. There is some kind of decision that you may be waiting for regarding finances, legality, job decision, or a house move. You will be notified in writing soon, and the decision will be positive for you, even if at the time you think it's not. Everything happens for a reason. Be patient. It may take a little longer than you expect. Allah, he's really frustrating me because during the evenings I would want to be out with my boyfriend, but it's like he's checking out. He makes me feel alone. Can you look into his energy, please? Sorry, I'm a ghost right now. I don't know why. Okay. I do get a um in over my head kind of feeling, and kind of feels like he is worrying. It kind of feels like he's worrying that he won't get better, that he won't be better, that he won't it feels like there's a lot of kind of internal conflict and worrying about just his own path in getting better for himself, particularly, like, not necessarily the relationship. The hopeful feelings that I was feeling, you know, I do feel like that's linked to the relationship. But when it comes to this, I do feel kind of like there's not a very hopeful, not a very, I feel like there's hopeful energy in, you know, keeping you and being long term with you. But I feel like there's not very hopeful energy in fully recovering and fully kind of being like healthy and healed in his own like mental health or with his own struggles and problems, if that makes sense. And that's kind of how it feels. Caroline, hello, thank you. I appreciate that. I do love this beanie. Alan, I'm disappointed and always upset with him. I honestly don't know what to do. Could I get a guidance card? Okay. Let's do a heart chakra angel and see if we can get something here. But I also think, you know, give yourself some maybe how can I say it? Like expectations, like, you know, if you're because if you're not feeling happy and you continue to not feel happy for X amount of time, the further and further things go, or the longer and longer things progress, the more difficult it will be to start anew if you need to. And I just feel like it's good to hold space for him. It's good to, you know, have hope for him and try to help him, which, you know, I have a lot of hope for him and really do want to help him, you know, myself. But I feel like it's also about your happiness. And if he really is too resistant and really takes too long, you know, you can't, it's more difficult the longer it goes to start something new. Like if you know, heaven forbid, and I know that we don't want it to happen, but if you were to break up today, at least within like a year or so, you could have met someone new. You know, it can't happen so quickly. Um, but the longer and longer it goes on for, the more we worry about that, and the more we kind of think like, you know, getting older, I'm getting older, and things like that. So I don't want, you know, I want the connection to work out. I want him to, I want the connection to work out, but I want him to be better, and but not just for himself, but for you as well. And sometimes if people just can't seem to fully get there within themselves, even if they want to for you, they can be so self-absorbed, or not self-absorbed in like a selfish way, but just self-focused in a, you know, your own problems can be so big that you can push people out. So this is the card that come up. This is it's a heart chakra card. It says advantage, and it says empower. The love you have to give others is limitless. You care for everyone and everything, and this is one of the beautiful qualities that you possess that makes you the light-hearted and happy person that you are. Continue to be this way and trust your heart when you sense that someone may take advantage of your ever helpful spirit. Provide them with unconditional love and allow them to continue their journey on a different pathway. If they are meant to be in your life, then they will return in the future when they have gained experience and knowledge to appreciate your beautiful soul. Carolyn says a card of my choice. Let's do a dragon. Let's do a dragon. Earth and Air Dragon represents a perfect balance between heaven and earth. Stay balanced, ground your visions, manifest your hopes and dreams. It's very cute. Earth and air. Perfect balance between heaven and earth. Very, very nice. Nancy, hello, welcome. I lost my e-bike keys. Can you please tell me where they are? I looked all over. E-bike keys. Okay, let's see if we can locate. It may be best if you would send me a picture. That might help. Oh, then again, how would you have a picture? You're not going to have a... Oh, you can send a picture of the bike, maybe that might help. Yeah, you probably don't have just a picture of the keys lying around, but maybe a picture of the bike might help just to connect a little bit in some way. But let's see if we can pick something up for this, if we can see anything. Yeah, so e-bike keys, okay. So the first I'm seeing ground, which is, it's like concrete or tile. It's something like that, you know, quite like a hard surface, like concrete or tile. And it does look kind of greyish, or like a kind of pale off-white kind of, some kind of colour like that, like pale off-white or grey, or even maybe possibly very, 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 very pale blue. I would lean more to off-white or grey, but it's possible there's like a bluish kind of purplish hint there, but I would lean towards off-white or grey with what I'm seeing here. And I also do see like black fabric. So black fabric, it kind of seems to me like it could be a bag or like a laptop case or something like that. But it's quite up close. Kind of, I just know it's fabric and I know it's black from what I'm seeing of it. So they're the two things I think very clearly with that. Ella, can you please check his chakra balance and if written needs to do more work on him? Okay, so yes, chakras. So let's see. There is a very dull energy at the sacral. Sacral, yes. It doesn't. I don't feel like this dense energy, but it feels like it's very dull, and it also seems like there's energy kind of reaching out of the sacral. Now, when energy is reaching out of the sacral, it can be like the beginning building of like a chord. So like you know, if there's an intimate connection and an intimate connection is building, it can be that, but it doesn't feel like it's personal linked. So I would rule out the intimate connection. It doesn't feel like linked to a person. The other kind of chords that can come from the sacral are usually to bad habits. So when we're tempted to maybe, um, you know, pick up a cigarette when we haven't had one in a while, or you know, whatever kind of negative habit, you know, um, often the sacral a chord will come like this. It's not really a chord. It doesn't. I mean, it can be a chord because it can reach out to the thing that we're, you know, it can kind of try and reach out to the thing that we want. But it's more like a cycle. So what it does is it comes from the one part of the sacral, links back to the other part of the sacral, and it's like an energetic, um, um, manifestation of a cycle, like a karmic cycle, repeating cycle, negative cycle, addiction cycle, whatever it might be. And that's what I feel is at the sacral. But apart from that, there's really not. I mean, maybe so. Maybe as well the third eye. There's some low energy. That's not kind of alarming. So when we see someone's, full system and there's a chakra that's a little bit like the third eye is, I don't really think that's alarming, but it's just something to note. If you were, ideally we'd want all of the chakras to be exactly the right pace, the right vibrance, um, you know, all energy flowing between all of them together perfectly and everything like that. If you wanted like the full perfect system, you would just notice that third eye a little bit. I don't really feel like that's too much of an issue. Could be the like you said, being like seeming kind of checked out, maybe being too much in his head and not enough is balance in that. There's internal thought, but there should also be like outward connection as well in all areas. So I would say sacral is the main thing, but just to note the third eye as well, as it may link to what you've already said. As Leela says, what was the reason that I blocked my clairvoyance 2 years ago? Okay. It seems a little bit like I get the feeling of like putting too much of a guard up. It's almost like, maybe there was help from your higher self and your guides and everything with this as well. But it feels a little bit like when we can try to shut or we can accidentally shut down a little bit too much when we put too much of a guard up. It's like what it reminds me of. It's like how people are hurt emotionally and they go through a really negative experience in like on the love path or even with maybe not the romantic love path but sometimes with like family and things like that. Like if someone really hurts them emotionally, if they're like abused or just treated very very badly by someone that was supposed to love them, um they can then put their guard up around their heart way too much to where they have like a heart wall, I would call it. It's like very thick energy wall around the heart. And initially it was a good thing. It was just to protect their heart chakra from any more hurt, to just harden them a little bit with the emotions and kind of protect them a little bit. But then it grows and grows and they don't let that guard down, so it becomes like a wall. It feels like that in the third eye. So it can be that you know maybe you had a lot of psychic attacks, or you had a lot of stress and anxiety, overthinking, um anything that can kind of cause the third eye to need a guard up. So that is things like psychic attacks, evil eye, um, and our own internal things as well can be like if we are overthinking, if we are getting too stressed, that can happen. But we can begin to build this wall up in the third eye as well, where we're, at first it's just can be your higher self just protecting you from maybe too many psychic attacks or something like that. But then eventually it's just kind of hardening and hardening, and you're not really releasing it enough, which can be the fault of whoever is psychic attacking you. But unfortunately, that can happen. Jasmine, I 100% do not believe in butterflies being the indicator of excitement or someone being the right one. I say this from my experiences. I did not feel butterflies with Phil. It was very calm. I was excited, yes, but calm like you described. I know exactly what you're describing. Butterflies, from my experience, are red flags. The world you are talking about is, for Marcus, is stable. Yes, yeah, I do agree with that. With him, as I feel I can reach my non-romantic love path life goals with him. Although there is romance there, I'm more focused on the stability I see with him, which naturally creates feelings of romance. Yeah, and I do tend to agree with that. And as well, I think as well that, butterflies as well, it's, it can often be like a, when you're younger thing, and it's kind of like, oh, it is new and it's exciting and all of that. But yeah, when we do get older, I do think that, if someone is kind of giving us butterflies, maybe they're like unhealed and ungrown, and the only thing they're providing is some level of like, oh, excitement, and not like anything that's of real substance. So yeah, stability is definitely a good word. Firebird, hello. My dismissed W still feels the need to plant lies about me to Scorpio when she's already smug about snagging him. Okay. It's really, it's just pure insecurity. It's just pure insecurity, unfortunately. So, it's people like this. They don't just want to. They don't just want to be like the winner, if that makes sense. They have to. They're too insecure to kind of let it go, because any, if they stop, maybe they'll go back to you. So it's definitely insecurity. Maya, my mother, Cecilia, Capricorn, what does she think of me? There does seem to be like a mixture, a combination of things. I feel like there's a level of proudness, there's a level of feeling kind of like positive, happy kind of emotions and things like that. I do feel like there is some level of, I don't know if I would say disappointment as much as I would say jealousy, but it's somewhere like that. But it is quite small. It does feel like something like, I try not to feel that way, or I try not to let that consume me. But there is something a little bit small there with that. Um, yeah, it feels a little bit complex. Like, not all feelings are just like, oh, really positive. But I do kind of get the feeling that the more negative side of things, it's not it's not desirable. Like, I feel like there's recognition of feeling that way and not really wanting to feel that way, like an awareness of it. Firebird, which of Miss W's lies of me is Scorpio believing? So there does seem to be. So um, I would say lies um for a start, like there's a lot of like work related kind of things. So I feel like it's kind of like, you know, in a way to paint you as being a bit more incompetent, or not as good, or like just kind of like a minimizing of the positivity surrounding like work and skills and potential and things like that. But I also do feel as well that it's like, if so if she feels something negative about somebody else, instead of saying it from her own mouth and seeming bad, she will say that you said that about that person, or that you implied that about that person, or said that to that person. It's kind of like saying what I want to say about other people, but saying that you said it, if that makes sense. It's very kind of gossipy. Jasmine, should I apply for full custody of my 6-year-old? Okay. I actually get to know on that. Firebird, was Miss W deliberately reacting to everyone's team messages but ignored and skipped over mine? It's obvious she's trying to say something. What is it she's trying to achieve doing this? Yes. I totally agree that it's purposeful, and I feel like again, it's almost like just adding salt to the wounds. It's kind of just like I just yeah, that's all I can really say about it. It's like, you know, not only it's passive aggressive, you know, it's passive aggressive, and it is just almost trying to make things even worse. Maya, my friend, Pei, wants to take revenge and hurt that girl he showed me on a picture. I'm gonna get a no on that actually. Jasmine, it's interesting how much interest and priorities have changed from how I was hellbent on being with Phil because of that twin flame energy, but my eyes have opened that he is not stable. Stability is so much more attractive and logical to me at this point in my journey. Yes. Yeah, and I can really respect it because, you know, I obviously I get the desire to be with a twin flame. Like it's something that's even the person who's in it who wants it can't really always fully describe why they want it because it's that disconnect of the soul energy, it's that magnetic connection that it's a bit kind of deeper than, or not, yeah, a bit deeper or a bit different than maybe the values that we have in emotionally and physically. It's kind of, and spiritually to a degree, but it's just really, but to me, like, it's, knowing what I know about twin flames and how, and what I've seen with people who are in twin flame relationships and, or separated twin flames, I kind of always feel like I would much rather be with a soulmate or soul family member or even a brand new connection that I don't have any soul or spiritual ties with than a twin flame romantic connection. Like I just, to me, it does seem so. It's a roller coaster. It's so up and down. Um, it's just kind of crazy, and but I get it. I get the feeling and the attraction that we can't really quite put our finger on. But when you see the comparison between a non-twin flame connection and a twin flame connection, it's in the same people. Yeah, I totally. I would prefer it. I would prefer to. I'm really glad my twin flame wasn't a romantic connection. That's all I can say. Kevin, before you said that I will be released from Signify possibly in August or September, but you said work from my side can be completed in the next month itself. Did something change? Um, okay. Sorry, yawning. Yeah, so I definitely would say something has changed here. I definitely would say that there's been a little bit of a forward, um, coming forward of this energy. I still feel like it's, you know, it's possible it could go. I probably wouldn't say September now with how it looks. I probably would say August is like maybe a maximum. I feel like maybe a month within like a minimum and August within like a maximum. But yeah, even so, it does feel like it's come forward to some degree. And Kevin, is it my idea of adding Gen AI saving in my time tracker which influenced this? Oh, yes, possibly. Not entirely, but could be a factor. It could be a factor, but not entirely. Maya, what do people think of me in Graal? Or does it grey? I'm not sure, but let's still check. What do people think of me in there? Okay. There's a very light energy which kind of suggests that you're not like there isn't a lot of thought put into you, or deeply into you. There isn't a lot of thought, like analyzing or judging anything like that. And it also feels very positive as well. It feels very positive. It's just very light. So it's like not a lot of judgment, not too much thought put onto you, or what you're like, or anything like that. But yes, positive overall. Firebird, what sort of connection did me and Scorpio have in our past life, and how far back was it? Okay. Did you say what kind of connection? Oh, I actually see. So this this was a bit sad, actually. So there's something is happening where you're supposed to meet to. There's a purpose to it, so it's like exchanging something, like a product or papers or something. It's like you're supposed to meet to exchange the. It's very past. I don't know exactly what I would say. Maybe I'm not. I wouldn't quote. Don't quote me on time frame, because I'm not getting the exact numbers, and I'm so terrible with seeing what this. I feel like I want to say it's like mid 1800s, but that might be too far back. I'm not 100%. But it's almost like you're traveling to meet each other, to exchange something. It could be like a product, papers, information. It feels important though. It feels important. Like it's a long journey. Like you're taking a long journey to meet each other for this purpose. Something that you think is really, really important that needs to be exchanged. And it's really sad because you there's been some level of communication, in some way. So whether that's other people passing information between you, or whatever it might be, there's been some level of communication, but you both have not met. You haven't actually met. And before you do, there's a death of one of you, a passing of one of you. So it's almost like you were acquaintances. There was supposed to be a meeting. There was supposed to be more, and it didn't happen. So that's, yeah. I think I went too far back with the time frame, but yeah, like I said, don't quote me on the time frame of it, because I'm not getting the exact numbers. I'm just kind of seeing what I'm seeing. But yeah, that's interesting. Kevin says the angel card feels like a mini channeling itself. Yeah, I do quite like those ones. They can sometimes be a bit. Um, I feel like sometimes it's the information's like, oh yeah, okay, and sometimes the information's like, oh, that kind of spoke to me. That kind of hit the nail on the head. So, Carolyn, another card from my intuition. Okay, I'm going to do. I'm going to do a love card. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moment. So anything from the past may need to be, um, healed from, and not necessarily like it says forgiving. It might not be forgiving. It might not be to the extent where one of you really needs to apologize, or has done anything very wrong. But there may be a learning process. You might need to learn a bit, you know, a bit of growth. One of you has a lesson, or both together have a bit of a lesson, to learn. But you can get through it, and you can heal and move forward and stay on a good track. Firebird, I'm just going to skip that one, because I do kind of feel like the what I saw did kind of answer that one with the unfinished business. There was definitely unfinished business in that lifetime. Um, Kevin, for Signify, how much time will I be putting in the client project during July and August compared to the amount of effort I have put in April? I would say maybe about half, give or take, but maybe about half. A card for Maya. Let's do a love card for Maya as well. Okay. So you have, this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner that you seek. So sometimes that is that you've already met them. Sometimes it's a current chapter card. So it might not be quite just yet, but in this current chapter it will be. Oh, sorry, there's a super somewhere that I didn't see. Maya, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Okay, so I didn't even realize how long I've been on for. I'm going to scroll down now, and anybody who hasn't had any questions answered, I will be answering some of yours. I will be answering some of yours if you haven't had any. Sorry. So Mystical G says hi, what's coming towards me in the near future? So it's a little bit too broad of a question because it could bring up like a whole, 30-minute or longer reading. But I will pull you a, let's do, Secrets of Wandwood. Oh, okay. So we have decisions. So there might be when we get a decision card, it's not, like, what am I going to have for food this evening, It's much more very, very important decisions. So it'll be a big decision. So some kind of life path decision, who should I be with? What should I do as a job? Something like that. So you might find yourself at a bit of a crossroads with two or more things to choose out of on a certain aspect of your life path. And when we have a lot of decisions on our life path as well, it's very often that we are in more of a free will period of life. So we have to really trust our own intuition about which path we want to take. Of course, there are times when our guides push us to decisions or really influence our decisions, of course. There's times like that. But ultimately, you do have to trust yourself a little bit more and kind of try to hone in on your intuition a little bit more. So as well, when that comes up, if you do want to focus on a certain chakra or anything like that in this coming chapter, focus a bit more on your third eye chakra to help your intuitive senses. Massey says, is A actually serious about me or not? Okay. I guess a yes on that, actually. Massey says, will I be able to stay in CO? I definitely get yes to that you'll be able. It just feels like you're kind of being pushed to a different path a little bit more strongly. Nancy says, oh wow, okay, oh my god, okay, I was on that type of tile today. I'm going to look, thank you. Outside or inside? One, I was wearing a black sweatshirt. That's where they were. I was wearing a black sweatshirt. That's where they were. So does that mean that you found them, or do we still need to know the answer to outside or inside? That's where they were. Well, I really, really hope that you found them. So do answer that, because I won't mind just having a little check of outside or inside. Oh, Miss Venus, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's possible. Ella, that the sequel just needs a little bit of work on that. Um, I personally feel like the drinking is more of an issue, but then again, I suppose when people are high as well, they definitely can be aloof. Um, but I just think that overall, when it comes to spiritual, mental, and physical, drinking is actually worse, unfortunately. Um, I just say that in a sense of like maybe if he does want to, if he's really serious about not doing these things, he could just go to one or the other as opposed to maybe mixing or alternating. It could be like, if he feels like he can't be totally sober, maybe he could just have um pot, just as he kind of gets used to not doing anything, kind of gravitating away. Miss Venus, I just terminated a client that I felt was manipulative and just lying a lot, but I consulted and he wasn't appropriate for our services. Will he try to fight the decision or accept it even if he's not happy about it? Okay. Unfortunately, I'm seeing some energy of appeal. It definitely seems like it will at least be a strong urge, a strong like it'll be like the first thing that comes to his mind. Definitely feels like it will be the first thing that comes to mind. Um, so unfortunately, so I would say yes. I really feel like yes. Oh, but you'll think a complaint. I think an appeal, but I'm not sure. Let me check for complaint. I'm guessing. Luckily, I'm guessing no one complaint. So very hopeful for that. I hope not. Samina says, can you please check my aura energy? Is it clean and pure? I guess a yes on that. And Mazzy says, is K jealous that I kissed BL or B? Yes, I do get a yes on that. Samina, do you see any blockages in my love life? Every time I start a relationship, it ends up for no reason. I just feel like you, um, because you're another person who has a very kind of twin flame ish energy around you. I feel like you're on a very strong path of disconnecting from that, and I feel like you are doing very well. But I just feel like you have a little bit more of a process to, and even though I think that twin flames can be very disruptive to other love paths. I'm not of the belief that you have to fully disconnect and be fully released entirely for like years and years in order to get onto another love path. I don't believe that. But I do feel like you have to just pull away just a little bit more before you can stabilize another love path just a little bit more. So, don't worry if you're a twin flame and every now and then you think about them, it's okay. But being as kind of disconnected and further along as we can be, um, is often a good practice. Antonella, hello. Will Sagittarius Daniel come to um, Noah baptism this July? Okay. I'm guessing a yes on that. And do you see me ever again being with Daniel? It seems like quite a high chance. I would say there's a high chance about that. How does Daniel feel about the mother of his sons will he stay with her, okay? I, it's very low prominence that it will be a long time, like a forever connection, a very long term connection. Yeah, Firebird, I thought that past life was pretty interesting. It's very interesting actually. Because it's interesting, it's like having a connection but not really having a connection. It's almost like supposed to have had a connection but didn't quite make it. To some degree. Um, yeah, I see low prominence of being very, very long term for Antonella there. Miss Venus, I've been hearing the song Teach Me in my mind. Who is this from, or what messages is here for me? I had not heard that song since like middle school, okay? I'm getting twin flame energy with that one. So just another example of how the twin flames do really try to reach out. Jasmine, last question for clarification. Yes to the child support, but just keep the shared custody. Why is that? I feel like he'll retaliate. I mean, he'll retaliate either way, but I don't know. Okay. What I'm really seeing with it is it feels like it should be like the minimal as possible to Randall, like the minimal like time as possible, but just there still being some level of like a um some level of an agreement, some level of um I don't know, giving a bit of, I don't know if you say like leniency or grace or what you would say, but it just feels like it should be tried to work where it's like as minimal as possible to him in any way possible. That's really what I feel. Miss Venus, I woke up from a dream where I was screaming, I don't want it or someone to come back. What was the dream about? Okay. So I am really guessing that it's some kind of past life memory playing through, but I think I rarely feel that there's a Star Family connection with it. I feel like there's some level of like Ichi or Star Family connection with it, but it's replaying something out of a past life. So it's almost like you have a bit of like a past life regression in a dream. Ella, can you please check my dog's energy? And is he okay? I have to do that one. I can't help the pets. I can't help not checking on the pets, I should say, because that sounds wrong. Can you please check my dog's energy? And is he okay? Yeah, it actually seems like quite a nice energy. It's a little bit kind of calm, but it's quite nice. Hello, Shashi. Hello, and welcome. Or Shashi Suri Awanshi? So sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, where the gap should be. but it's nice to see you. Nancy, please see all my e-bike keys are outside somewhere or inside. Okay. Yeah, it seems to be inside. If it's not inside, it's very, very close proximity. So it seems that I would say inside with what I'm seeing. I would say in. Yeah, I agree with Jasmine there. It's about the twin flame. The thoughts don't go away, but the other ones become more prominent. Just more of a focus. You're welcome, Kevin. Of course, you're welcome. Uh, Miss Venus. Oh my gosh, but the twin flame. If twin flame is like this is how it's supposed to be for us to be separated, why am I getting this light-hearted song from him? What is going on with him towards me? Like why? Okay. I don't know if what I'm guessing here is it's almost kind of like um really he's really feels like in a moment or a chapter or a period of not taking himself too seriously and not kind of so because I feel like there's been a lot of harsh energy towards himself about not kind of being able to live up to you and not kind of being able to live up to what could potentially be a really positive beneficial love path for him. So I do feel like there's a bit of a you know, he's come to a moment now where there's being a bit more lighthearted with himself and having more like kindness towards himself, I guess, and kind of stepping off that more serious and harsher energy to himself, which is good if he's going to. If he's never going to step up and never going to be like a real serious, candidate for any like, good woman, then I guess it's maybe it's the best he can do is to just kind of be like that. Um, but yeah, I mean it's better than being hard on himself. But I also feel like some level of being hard on yourself is good because you need to kind of hold yourself accountable, which I didn't really get that feeling there. I feel kind of like he's just kind of yeah, almost taking things kind of just life in general a little bit not serious and jokey, which is good for some elements of life, but not for all. Oh no. So that's my battery. Nancy, you're very welcome. Really hope you find them very, very soon. Um, Ella, let me think. Um, yeah, send me um an email. In fact, I'll email you after I finish here because I think I just need to have a little bit of a think with it because I don't know. I think maybe a bit of like I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's cord cutting, cleansing, Reiki, as long as there's protection at the end of it, and as long as I always tailor my work to what is kind of needed. So if I do go in and I feel like there's something that you know, we might do a cord cutting, but say something else is a little bit more needed, or the cord cuts quite easily, but then, you know, something else is needed. Of course, I will just add that. So it doesn't necessarily matter what we go in with the idea of, as long as we know what we're doing when we get in there. So it doesn't really matter what it is, but I think I'm just I think maybe if what I would suggest, so what I think that might be best is, you know, I I'm quite harsh on him, like, you know, I look, you know, through a microscope, you know, when I'm kind of looking at him, and I know I you know, sometimes I've maybe said things, you know, about him, like not being good enough, and you know, things like that. Um, I would say, if there's anything that you feel, I know it might be difficult at the moment when he's not really living up to what you need, but if there is any aspect that you feel there's some improvement on, or there's some hope for, or there's any element where you actually feel anything that you feel good about within him, I think maybe we could look at that, because at least we can see the areas where he is kind of having some growth and some improvement. Because my worry is about the time frame of it for you, because like I said, I really feel like you could um I really feel like you could maybe do better, and maybe not in not too long of a time as well. But you know, I know the connection's been, it's a long term connection, it's been a long time, and of course there's like a deeper connection. It's easy from for someone looking from the outside in to say that, even knowing the connection, it's still, you know, because I care about you, because I care far more about you than where he may end up if he doesn't change and grow. I do care about him at this time, moment in time, but you know, for me, it's like, if he's if he rarely can't get there, I do just think, you know, it's, you're more important, basically, is what I'm trying to say. To me, of course, to you, you're both equally as important. To me, you're more important. But I feel like, you know, if we can see any aspect where he really is kind of improving, we can maybe work around that, and like the energy of that, and translating the energy of that to the other areas and things like that. Maybe it might help to work in that way a little bit. I think sometimes when we do a lot of work on one particular person, or in one particular for one particular thing, it's always good to check both of these things. What really is having improvements, what isn't having improvements, and can these two things kind of help each other in any way? And I definitely won't give up hope for him, yes, and I don't want to do that, but I just really don't want you to put too much time, or go too far, and then think, okay, he's just not quite getting there. So yeah, hope that makes sense. If you can, get me about that. Um, Miss Music's I rebuke you, twin flame. You say you're joking, but I think maybe you should not be joking. Just loving a Jasmine's comment there as well. Um, Livia, I'm happy to do a couple of questions for you, Livia. I haven't had any yet, just before you go. But these are a little bit broad. I need a little bit more specific questions just as we're finishing up here. But I'll do your love card. Um, the So you have, give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. So with this, actually, um, this is, I mean, it can be suggesting that you kind of maybe already know the person, or you have some level of connection with the person who is that long-term connection. And that could be why it's saying give your relationship a chance as though you are already in the relationship. But also, it can suggest that, when we get things like this, work on your partnership, it can suggest that, the long-term connection that you get into, it might not be fully smooth sailing. There might be some issues where you have to hold space for this person. They might have to hold space for you as well, But it might be a bit of more of a struggle, challenge type relationship. Maybe it's twin flame, because that comes with a lot of ups and downs and struggles and challenges. But some relationships are worth that. Some relationships are, the ups are so great that those bad negative downs every now and then is worth it. So sometimes we do have to think about that when we're comparing. It's not just, oh, this really negative thing happened and we really struggled and I don't know if we can work on it. If if the other aspects of the relationship are worth it, then yes, it may be worth it. So yes, Miss Venus. So am I just tapped into twin flame, or is that he is thinking about me and that's why I picked it up? Okay. Yeah, there has been some thinking about you, and that is why you're picking it up. Mazzy, thank you so much for the super sticker. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. Does Kay think I slept with BL? Is that why he's not talking to me? I feel like he's mad at me. Am I right? Okay. Yes, I do feel like you're right on that. Mohammed, does Sophia miss me now? Yes, I guess a yes on that. And then also, Mohammed, will Sophia initiate to contact me first? Yes, there's a possibility of that. There's a possibility on either side. It does seem most prominent that it will be you, but there is quite a big chance, I would say at least 45, maybe a little bit over 45% chance that Sophia will contact first. Miss Venus, I was hoping that song was from my new soulmate. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Ella, good night. Yes, please do email me tomorrow. I will look out for that. Thank you so much. Livia, will Leo and I make a relationship possible? I guess a yes on that for Livia. He's Sagittarius and you're a Leo. Let me double check on that. If I did mess up that by reading that a little bit wrong, but let me check. I still get yes. I still get a yes on that. You're very, very welcome. So let me just do this last one from Miss Venus, and then I will be wrapping it up. I really appreciate the likes on the video. Thank you so, so much. And there will be an earlier stream tomorrow. I did have like my bookings today and everything, but I don't have any tomorrow, and I have double checked that before coming on the stream so that I don't mess up or say anything wrong on the stream. So tomorrow there will be a stream earlier, which should be before, I'm pretty sure it will be before noon, between 10 a.m. and noon tomorrow GMT. But the early one is the members channeling, because I am kind of trying to, vary the times with that. So members channeling, I've put a post up on YouTube trying to kind of narrow down the timings for the next few days. We have sorry. We have tomorrow. We have Saturday. Tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Still of streaming, and then on Monday I will be traveling. But when I get there, I will check out the schedule, check out what's going on, and give you some kind of loose schedule of streaming for the next week whilst I'm in Germany, which I think it will be not quite as busy as the US, but I will just want to double check before I confirm that. Rain, I'm so sorry to miss you. If you want to ask one question, you're very welcome. But yeah, we are just finishing up. So let's do Miss Venus, how do my soulmate look like? And then let's do one from Rain. If you do want to ask for one, or ask for one card, you can do that. And sorry guys, my sinuses. Okay, so Miss Venus. So I'm seeing kind of tall, yeah, kind of tall, definitely taller than you. Kind of toned. See a bit of a beard. Like it's not like super long, but I do see it's more than just stubble is what I'm seeing. So I do see a little bit of a beard, and I'm seeing glasses. I don't know if it's like I'm always wearing glasses or I have reading glasses, but I do see glasses. I see like there's something about the teeth. I think it might just be like really nice, like nice straight teeth, or there's like a nice smile. Something like kind of positive about the teeth and the mouth. It is very smiley. I think that like I'm seeing like straight, nice, clean teeth. White teeth. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing at the moment for that one. Um, Card of my choice for Rain. Yes, let's end on a card for Rain. I'm going to do Angel, so I hope that's okay. I like that one. Discovery. Discovery, Archangel Raziel. Patience. Patience is a virtue, dear child. Your spiritual journey of discovery is underway, and Archangel Raziel is providing enlightenment at this time to assist you with this. New discoveries and knowledge in these subjects are available for you. The universe is working behind the scenes to bring opportunities and people into your life that will bring insights to you that will be beneficial. Be patient. Sometimes a few universal cogs have to turn to ensure the timing for these meetings is just right. So that's a nice way to end with an angel card. Clean teeth are important. Yeah, I meant more like white, white, not like he definitely brushes his teeth twice a day, as you should. As opposed to those other men that you date, who only brush once every other day. But yes, so so guys, yeah, I'm sorry, I really am finishing here because I'm it's just it's a little bit too late. I still have a few things to do. So I do have to jump off. But it's been wonderful to connect with you all, and I'm really kind of I wanted to do longer streams so I'm kind of glad we did 2 hours. I think it's better. It gets a few more people in, especially with like the issues with YouTube notifications lately. It's kind of better to, um, as I'm not super scheduled like I used to be. It's just better that people get like bit more notice. and we stay on for longer, and they can come in for a little bit. So I do want to try and do that as much as possible as well. Longer streams as well as more often. So, but do not hesitate to get in touch if you need me. All of my information is in the description of the video. And if I do have any more specifics about the next streams or anything changes, I will try my best to post as accurate information as possible. But yeah, it's looking like between 10 and noon GMT tomorrow for our channeling, and then around 3 p.m. for a crystal ball, or whatever the other stream will be. It's probably going to be crystal ball, but I was thinking maybe I might do aura reading or something a bit different, because just check my most recent post with the picture of the airplane wing, because I might be saying it wrong now that I don't have it written down in front of me, and I just don't want to make a mistake. So check that if you want to know about the next streams, check that post on my posts section of my YouTube. It's like a picture of an airplane wing, and it has a bit more of a breakdown of rough times that are going to be over the next 3 days. I'm really worried that I've said something wrong, so I'm just going to jump off. But all of my information is in the description of the video if you need to contact me. There's Facebook, email, and Discord. And if you want to check out my sessions, spells, readings, cleanses, everything that I do, my website is secretfrequencies.com/shop. So also go ahead and check that out. There's a link to that. But yeah, really hope to see you soon. Really hope to see you tomorrow. Love, light, and blessings to each of you.